Have you ever had a story you want to tell? Something you just wanted to express so badly, even if no one else understood? Well, that's what happened with my latest manga, Star Seeker. I think this one's my best yet, and this video is about how I made it, obviously. So, yeah, anyways, enough yapping. It's time to go to the beginning. It's January 29. I discovered that Kadokawa is having another manga contest, but this time you can have words and dialogue in it. And well, it's the perfect excuse, because I can finally develop a story that's been brewing in my head since December. But this time, I will learn from the mistakes from my second manga, which I made a video about if you're interested, but also to build on what worked from my first one. I wanted to make sure I did this one right. So this time, I planned and designed anything and everything I could as early as possible. The first step was to write a manuscript, and oh, I did. So many goddamn times. The first version of the story was finished on February 3rd. I sent it to one of my pals, and he said it was ash. And yeah, that kind of hurt, but that's okay. There was a lot of problems with it, especially because many of the ideas were bones from a different project that I was kind of Frankensteining onto this theme that I had in mind. So I restarted the story from scratch, building it up from the bottom. And 1 week later, February 10th, I finished the second version of my story, which was ultimately what the story is now. I sent the second manuscript to the original friend, but also to a new friend, and the feedback I got was interesting. The first version of my story was very different from the second one, and it was flawed, but there was something about it that I much preferred. The way it expressed what I wanted to say better than the second one, even though the second new story was technically better. And that's also what my second friend said as well. But the first friend much preferred the second. And for many weeks, I would continue to make edit after edit, all the way until the final week before submission. However, just as things were picking up, and I thought I could start working on other things. Yeah, so this month sucked a lot. Let me quickly illustrate some of the things that happened very vaguely. So yeah, not a great month. In fact, it was a pretty shit month. So coming into March, the manga was not my priority at all. But I just kept thinking about it and working on it a little here and there. And one day, I just finished the entire storyboard in one go. So I said, fuck it. Let's go for it. Why? Because I'm a fucking god. It's March 10th. There are 3 weeks left until the March 31st deadline. At that point, I had a manuscript, a storyboard, reference board, and a dream. 3 weeks to finish 25 pages. So here's how those weeks went. Week 1 was all about setting myself up for success and learning from my past mistakes. The first thing I did was to figure out my style as soon as possible, because from my old mangas, I was figuring out the style on the fly. But this time, I wanted to create a formula for myself as early as possible that I could use and just repeat over and over to stay consistent. I designed and planned as much as I could as well. The panels, locations, the characters, the style like I mentioned, and all this was to build up confidence. During this week, I also started working on Blender models to assist with lighting and perspective, which helped so much. And finally, I started the actual panels themselves, while making adjustments to my storyboard on the fly because it was nowhere near finalized. And with a deadline this close, there was honestly no room for perfection, and I just had to keep going, and I was forced to... Entering the second week, things were ramping up. I only had 8 out of 25 pages finished at this point, and there was 12 days left. So I knew I had to do more every day and to go faster. But my process was there. I had the formula figured out, so there was only one thing left to do. For 7 days straight, I drew the remaining 17 pages. But on March 29th, Sunday, it was finally fucking done. I finished all the images, but the job itself wasn't done. I still had to add the text and dialogue. And with only 1 day left, I just went with the simplest solution I could think of, which was just to write in the damn dialogue myself. And on March 31st, 3 hours before the deadline, I submitted my manga and went to bed. I'm gonna be real. I wasn't scared when I submitted my manga to Kadokawa's site, because it was always just an excuse, and I don't expect to win anything. But when I was about to share this to my Instagram, I got so fucking scared. I don't know if it's a feeling I'll ever get over, but I think it's because I put so much of myself into this that I got spooked. What if people don't like it? What if it just doesn't fucking matter? What if it's cringe? I kept having these negative thoughts in my head, so I just posted and I didn't look at my phone for the rest of the day. And then days passed, and nothing happened. Life kept moving forward, and I hated that I kept waiting for something, any kind of response, any feedback at all, because I know I'm supposed to make art for myself. And I truly do believe that this manga did that, because the feelings and the emotions I've been carrying since December were real. But the silence afterwards was a strange thing to process. And it was very sobering, because it was a huge reality check. Not to get so full of myself, because while this story was at the center of my life for months, I am not the center of anyone else's life, and I'm not entitled to anything. There are hundreds and thousands of artists sharing their stories every day. Why does mine have to matter? And just because it's important to me, doesn't mean it's necessarily important to anyone else. But something I kept coming back to while writing the script was that the story fulfilled me. The thing I wanted to express is out now, and that's all that really matters, isn't it? I think in a world full of follower counts and likes and constant comparison, I'm glad I got this little life lesson. That the best reward isn't fame or recognition. It was just the act of making something genuine and drawing for my own sake, and ultimately being fulfilled. So even with all that said and done, I'm still going to share my manga here, because I want to share my story. But I'm going to leave you with one request, which is to go tell your story. Develop that personal project that you've been thinking about. Express yourself and tell us about the struggles you faced, because that's part of the story too. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll end it off with the final version of Starseeker.